If I were to ask you which map do you think is the most balanced map from any FPS game, which one would you pick? I'll give you a second to answer. Alright, now most of you, I am assuming, would have picked something like Dust 2 from Counter-Strike. And that makes sense, right? It's not only the most iconic map in all of gaming, but it is the gold standard when designing maps for a diffuse game mode. But what if I told you that Dust 2 and other maps like it are not balanced the way that you think they are? And not only am I going to show you how maps are balanced in games like Critical Ops and Counter-Strike, but I have right here in my hands the most balanced map in Critical Ops in my opinion. So make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss another upload. And don't forget to check out my Discord server, link is in the description, as well as the link to my channel support page where you can unlock custom emojis that you can use in the comments, and my live stream chat where I stream on Saturdays at noon Eastern Standard Time. Sorry for the channel plug, but let's get back into the video. So what do I mean by the maps aren't balanced like you think they are? Well, in order to understand where I'm coming from, let's perform a thought experiment. I know, I'm making you think. How dare I? Anyways, suppose Critical Ops released a new map that they claim is perfectly balanced. No matter how many games you play or which team you are playing as, the Coalition and the Breach share a 50% win-loss ratio. If that is the case, then we can assume that most, if not all games played on this map will have a scoreline of 12-12. Now while this might be a draw in Counter-Strike, in Critical Ops, there can only be one winner and one loser. So if there were no round limits, and if both teams have players that are identical in skill level, then the game will continue on forever. But there is no such thing as two players having the exact same skill level. So even on a perfectly balanced map, the higher skilled player will win more games against the lower skilled players every single time. And it is here where we see the balance of maps start to shine. But before we get into that, I want to talk about skill levels for just a moment. I have come to find that skill is not determined by set levels, but rather a spectrum of different skills within the game that determine how well-rounded a player is. So for example, let's say that the skills you need to be good at are aim, recoil, KDR or kill down range, utility, positioning, and TTK, or time to kill. I know these are probably not the best determiners of skill, but let's keep going. If a player has good aim, great recoil, amazing KDR, they will most likely have a low TTK. But if they have very poor utility and positioning, their overall performance is going to suffer. It's like they have the aim of a top tier player, but they play like a low level player. If they are above average or below average, then their skill level will be reflected by their stats. So why mention skill levels at all? I mean, isn't this a video about the most balanced map in Critical Ops? Well, yes, but I need you to understand skill levels first, because every map you have played on is balanced based on the skill level of its player base. I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. Take a look at Dust 2 real quick. Notice anything about it? Well, if you can't, I'll just tell you. The CTs spawn closer to the bomb sites than the Ts. And if you look at other maps within similar games, you will notice that the defending teams spawn closer to the bomb sites than the attacking teams, and the same is applied to all of the maps in Critical Ops. So why is this? Well, it's simple. The Defuse game mode is actually attackers versus defenders, where the defenders must prevent the attackers from completing their objective. In the case of Counter-Strike, Critical Ops, and similar games, the objective for the defenders is to prevent the attackers from planting their bomb on a predetermined bomb site. The attacker's objective is to plant the bomb on a bomb site and defend the bomb until it explodes. Wait, hold on. Defend the bomb until it explodes? Yes, while the attackers have completed the objective of planting the bomb, they need to prove they can hold their objective with either less time or extended time depending on how much time is left in the round. Technicalities, you know what I'm saying. This also gives the defending team a chance to take back the bomb site that they left undefended or was overrun by the attacking team. So to prevent the attacking team from rushing onto a bomb site and overrunning the defending team, the defenders must use their utility provided to them through the game and use them in such a way that it makes it harder for the attackers to push onto a bomb site. The attackers also have the same utility available to them with much different lineups, so they can push through the defender's defensive setup. It is this ability to understand how to use what the game gives you and how to play on each team that determines the skill level of the individual player. But at the highest level, the strategy is still the same. So it is reasonable to say that the maps are balanced in a way that makes them slightly defender-sided, but not so much that being on the defender side wins you the game. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, what do I think is the most balanced map in Critical Ops? Well, I think we should categorize each map based on the locations of the bomb sites, and from there we could determine which map is the most balanced. Let's start with the bomb site spawners, which are Soar, Port, and Grounded. These maps have the Coalition spawning in the same area that one of the bomb sites is located, making it so the breach is either fighting for the closer bomb site or pushing the flank to plant on the furthest bomb site. These, in my opinion, are the least balanced maps due to the fact that the Coalition have at least one bomb site already under their control. But just because they already have control of that bomb site doesn't mean it is safe from the breach. It is just much harder for them to get to. Up next, we have the bomb site hoggers, which are Plaza and Legacy. These maps are designed in such a way that the Coalition can push through and take control of the areas around the bomb sites. These are not as unbalanced as the bomb site spawners, but they are certainly not the most balanced maps. However, if the Coalition tries to overextend on these maps, then the breach can punish this behavior and wind up giving the breach a huge advantage. Up next, we have the bomb site fighters. These are Puro, Casello, and Village. These maps are similar to the bomb site hoggers, where the Coalition can push through the bomb sites, but they can't directly take control of those outside areas. These maps have a bomb site that the Coalition can easily take control of, while the other site is usually being fought for by both teams. These maps are a little more balanced than the first two types of maps due to the counterplay that can be found on the bomb site both teams are fighting over. And if the Coalition tries to overextend on this site, then they can be severely punished and the bomb site is usually free for the taking, but not always. Finally, we have the balanced maps, which are Canals and Raid. These maps are what I believe to be the most balanced maps in Critical Ops. The Coalition can get onto the bomb sites quicker than the breach, but if they even think about overextending, good f***ing luck. Both maps are similar in the fact that the Coalition can swing out from the main entrance of either bomb site, but they risk swinging out into the open with no cover. This gives the breach ample opportunity to punish this push and take the bomb sites easily. These maps also have lots of cover on the bomb sites to provide multiple angles the breach needs to clear before they even think they are safe to plant. While this makes it harder for the breach to take the bomb sites, it's about the same difficulty for the Coalition to play anywhere other than the bomb sites, making each bomb site the main focus of each round. So between Canals and Raid, which one do I believe is the most balanced map? It's Canals, hands down, no questions asked. Why? Why are you asking questions? I said no questions asked. Alright, fine. Well, for starters, on Raid, the Coalition can just camp B site and just wait for the breach to push in if they keep smoking the entrances and keep an eye on mid and vents. Meanwhile, A site is the complete opposite, where if the breach is coordinated enough, they can fully commit to A site with a nade stack and easily be able to hold the site while the Coalition struggles to retake it. Canals, on the other hand, does not have this problem. B site is a bit harder to take for the breach, mostly because of the openness of mid, with the Coalition being able to hold catwalk from their spawn. Although this is the only thing they have to worry about, considering the breach can counter the catwalk swing and the lower cafe push from B site just by holding either angle from T bridge. A site itself is a toss-up. It just depends on if the breach knows the nades to push in and if the Coalition is competent enough to hold it by putting two players on it. So there it is, the most balanced map in Critical Ops and how developers balance their maps. Now, just because most of these maps are not balanced doesn't mean you can't win on them. In fact, there are plenty of ways to win on these maps as the breach, like knowing the best places to plant the bomb on all of the maps, which I have a video for right here, as well as another video that YouTube is recommending you watch. And it better be one of my videos, otherwise I'm gonna roll your team 13-0 in your next ranked match. And as always, stay safe. Bye-bye.